Yellowjacket men have started off the GNAC season 3-1. Mark, on Thursday against Simon Fraser, you had a career night, a career high 27 points. Talk about that run that you guys went on to start the second half and how that changed the momentum of the game.
Yeah, the first half we started off real slow. We weren't getting any rebounds. We were out rebounded, I believe, like 31 to 18. They had like 14 offensive rebounds, so we were getting the initial stop, just weren't getting the rebound. In the second half, to start off, we were actually getting those rebounds and those same stops, and it was turning into buckets on the other end.
And then on Saturday against Western Washington, you guys held on. It was a hard-earned victory, 77-75 over Western Washington. What do you think were some keys to that game, and who were some of the players who really stood out to you?
Keys, I believe, about the same as Simon Fraser. We were getting stops, especially late down in the stretch, rebounding, and players I thought, really stepped up, Jace, before he got hurt, he was playing great, and then EJ and Preston, because they didn't make any adjustments to their defense, so we just kept giving them the ball inside, and they were scoring at will, which was key for us.
One thing that you guys really struggled with a season ago was free throw shooting. You were in the 60s, and now this season you're ranked number 2 in the GNAC right now in that category. You guys have really stepped up. What has been the adjustment there? Is it something mental, or what have you guys really focused on to improve there?
Mainly it's just, it's free throws, so you just got to get up to the line and focus up, and we're doing that a lot more than we did last year.
And then this week you head on the road on this GNAC trip. You take on Northwest Nazarene first on Thursday. Your thoughts on the Crusaders, what you're expecting first on Thursday?
They play us tough every time we go up there, and when they come down here, it's always going to be a tough game, so we just got to, jump on from the start and hopefully get a good lead and build on it for the whole game.
And then you guys continue on. You have Central Washington Saturday, and then you go straight up to Alaska for 2 more the following week. What are going to be some keys to staying, mentally focused when you have such a long road trip?
Mainly, this long road trip, when we came, we got to get rest, eat the right food, drink the right stuff, so we can be ready to go, because Central's going to be tough. They beat Western Oregon at home last week. And both Alaska schools right now 4-0 in the conference, so it's going to be 4 really tough games these next 2 weeks.
Yeah, man, we had 3 great victories in a row, and we're trying to get 2 more this week in Washington against NU and Central Washington. Just carry that momentum over to Washington and be resilient and tough and play good as a team and just get 2 more victories and then go for Alaska next week.
And for you, it was your first 2 games that you played in over the weekend. What was it like to finally get out there on the court and make a difference for the team?
It was great to be out there. Just had to wait 1 semester. It was hard for me just to practice. And finally to be out there and play with the team and compete with the team and give the team everything I have was great. I had to adjust a little bit to the American style of play, but I'm getting more and more comfortable in these games, and I think I'm going to be fine and can help the team.
And talk about some of the guys around you, some of the veterans in the program who have made the transition a little easier, some guys that you've looked up to help you with your game.
Well, I think the first guy that I have in mind is Jace. Sorry for him that he's out now. He's just a great leader and knows the program. He's been here for 4 years, and he stepped up for a team, the player of the week, and he really earned it. It's really sad that he's out now, but now other guys like me have to step up, and I'm ready for the challenge.
And the challenge that you face this week is on the road against Northwest Nazarene in Central Washington. You surely heard a lot about the competitive level of the GNAC. You got to experience it with those first 2 games, but what are you anticipating? It's your first road trip with conference games this week.
Well, first of all, I'm anticipating to have a lot of fun with the team and to have a great trip with the team, and just to go out there and compete and play as hard as we can. And the GNAC is always tough. You have to be ready every game. You can't take 1 day off, and just do everything we can to get these 2 victories this week. Yeah.
Well, we're trying to focus mainly on just this week. We know we do have 4 in a row on the road, but right now the focus is Nazarene and Central Washington. We had coming back after Christmas, and after that Christmas break, we had a really busy week. Ran a little camp for some kids, had 3 games, the exhibition game included, and so it was nice yesterday to kind of get a day off, let the guys get away from things, and now it's time to go back to work and hitting the road again with the GNAC. We got GNAC road games are always difficult, and we're excited about the challenge and the opportunity this week of going to Nazarene and Central.
Your first game out of the break was against Simon Fraser at home. Marc Matthews, a career night for him, career high 27 points. He really was at the center of that 20-2 run you guys went on to start the second half. Talk about coming back after the break and putting on a strong performance that night.
Well, I think the first half of that Simon Fraser game, you could tell we had taken a 12-day break. We didn't play very well, and it wasn't very pretty. But Marc got us going in the second half. He had a really nice game and shot the ball extremely well, considering that we had taken all that time off. And that was that second half of Simon Fraser kind of got us going for the weekend. And a little bit on Marc. He didn't. I think he only had 2 points on Saturday night against Western Washington. But he did probably have one of his better defensive efforts that he's had in his 4 years here. And for our leading scorer to get 2 points and for us to win Saturday shows the balance we have. But Marc did play well Saturday night, even though the stats didn't show.
Saturday, a win over Western Washington, held on 77-75, gave you some momentum. Preston Beverly was key for you offensively in both those games. Overall, if you count that exhibition game on Sunday against Carroll, he's made 28 of his last 32 free throws. He's really stepped his game up overall and in that area.
Well, I think more important than actually, obviously you want to make free throws, but the fact that he's getting to the line that much, the fact that he's been to the line 10 times in 3 games, that's a good sign. Hopefully he can continue that pace of getting to the free throw line, because he is a good free throw shooter. So once he gets there, he's going to take advantage of those opportunities. And as a team, we've shot the ball pretty well from the free throw line. So we really need to try to get to that free throw line as much as possible.
You had some reinforcements come in for you this week. First games for Sven Jeuschede and Kamal Tall. Talk about having them back and where you kind of foresee them fitting into the picture moving forward.
Well, it was good having more bodies on that bench, and you could tell from the early action that Sven is he's ready to go. He's ready to play at this level. He's a guard that can play in this league, and he's going to bring us. He's gonna bring us obviously some. We're gonna need his minutes now, especially with recent happenings. But Kamal is a kid that has not played a ton of basketball in his life. But he's got the body. He looks the part. His athleticism will help him, and he just has to work on his skill work. But his best basketball is definitely in his future. And you can never have enough length. You can never have enough size, and especially with foul trouble, injuries, you never know what's going to happen. So both those guys are gonna be much needed additions as we look at the next 16 games.
As your focus shifts to this week, your detailed thoughts on Northwest Nazarene and Central, teams that you went combined 0-4 against last season. What differences are you going to have this season against them?
Well, I think we're a different team. They're different teams. Nazarene has a different coaching staff. I would say this, going into Northwest Nazarene, first and foremost, they've played a really tough schedule. They've already visited the 2 Alaska teams who are both undefeated, and then they had to play Western Oregon at home. So don't let their GNAC record fool you. They're better than what their record says. They've had a really tough opening GNAC schedule. During the non-conference season, they played very well. They beat Dominican, a team that kind of came here and put it on us. So we know we have our hands full with Northwest Nazarene, and right now it's just Coach Schmidt and I are just again figuring out a new coaching staff and a new system, and seeing how we're going to have to play them. Saturday night, Central's a lot more familiar to us. Obviously, Coach Sparr's been there forever, and a lot of those players were there last year, and we know going into Ellensburg is a difficult place to play. It's one of the 2 places we haven't won. As a program, since I've been here, one of the 2 places in the league we have not won is Ellensburg, and it's extremely, it's just a tough place to play. They play well at home. They're going to want to play fast and get up and down, and it's a GNAC road trip. They're all difficult.
And I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but with school still being on winter break until January 19th, the Jackets will not return to Billings between your 2 road trips. How do you kind of get the guys mentally prepared for these 2 games this week, and then continuing on, you go straight to Alaska?
Well, we just told them, pack for 10 days, but the focus is the first 5. The first 5 days is where our focus is, and that's Northwest Nazarene, Central Washington. Come Sunday, we'll start talking about the Alaskas, but so all I told them is just to make sure you pack for 10 days, make sure you bring your game shoes and your practice gear, and that's all I care about as far as what you bring. And the focus is the first 5 days, and then on Sunday we'll get to sit down as a group and start coming up with the game plan for the last 2 games.